Today's episode is brought to you by Tackle Up. Tackle Up is a premier, high-quality fishing shirt, lifestyle apparel company. They're providing the best quality shirts. You see us wearing them all the time. You saw the Double B, Double D, Bring Back Dollar Dog shirt, and we're going to be debuting a Red October shirt here soon. Head on over to tackleup.net. Use promo code TALKIN215 for 15% off site-wide. And even if you're not getting one of those shirts, they have Who Rags, they have Grundens, all kinds of other incredible fishing apparel, all the things you need. I understand winter is coming, and it might not be the best time for you to be getting fishing stuff right now for you to use, but guess what? It's also coming. Christmas, Hanukkah, all of the other gift-giving seasons where you can give your loved ones the exact gift that they need, which is a Tackle Up shirt. Tackleup.net. Let's do it.
Welcome to Talkin 215, your go-to podcast for everything you need to know about Philly sports. Whether you bleed green, trust the process, fly with the Flyers, or fight with the Fightins, this is the place where we break down Broad Street. Jake, Sean, and Joey deep dive into the heart of Philly sports culture, breaking down games, roster moves, and sharing the stories that make the 215 truly legendary. So grab a cheesesteak, settle in, and let's get to Talkin 215. Now here's your host, Jake Biasado.
We won! Yay! It's kind of how I feel about it. It's a win, but it never really felt great. Coach is back here with us. We kind of talked about last week. Boy, were we wrong. We thought it'd be the first blowout or first comfortable win in the past 2 years. It was not. Obviously, Papa Sean back in the house after a brief respite. And then I did tease a little surprise for tonight's episode. Now we've made it 2 because we have Mr. Chase U in the building on the pod. Have the absolute honor and pleasure of having him on. I'll start with you, Chase. How the hell are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's a pleasure to share this box, to share this pod with you fine gentlemen. But could be feeling a little bit better, like you alluded to. Still uncomfortable about that win. Still uncomfortable. That's not sitting good with me.
Yeah. Sean, you catch that game? Naturally.
Unfortunately I caught that game. I'm I don't want to say I'm checking out, but I am going to start watching these games with just the most monotone, just lack of emotion because I can't get excited for this team.
Coach,
I don't know if it's just me versus you three here, but like the tone in y'all's voices, the somber mood, this melancholy state of this podcast that we're starting. What did we lose by, 20 or 30 on Sunday? What did we lose by?
Dude, we beat a dog shit team at
Suck
the
it
very
up.
end.
All of y'all suck it up right now. If we're going to do the rest of the show, suck it up.
We won by 4 at home against a dog shit team with their entire offensive line hurt, and we looked terrible.
Okay.
You want me to get pumped? You want us to get pumped for that?
I want to get pumped for a win. Wins are hard to come by in the NFL. I want us to get pumped for a win.
Yeah, I mean, winning in the NFL is difficult.
It is.
Go ahead.
It is. We won difficult in the NFL. Guys, a kickoff or a field goal block for a touchdown happens about once every 39 games. Okay, so once every 3 seasons.
For the Browns, it was their first time doing it in 303 games.
That's what I'm saying. It's extremely rare. It doesn't happen. If you block it, if you tip it, the odds of it bouncing up and you return it for a touchdown, you're looking at going up 16-3 at that point. You have, and I know we could do the what if game all day, but you have an easy interception with Quignon and Chauncey colliding with each other. Who knows if you score on that drive at the minimum, 19-3, 20-3, 20-0. The score at the end of the day did not dictate how the Eagles had control of that football game. I know it looked different, and by the time it was 13-13 and 10-10, I get all that stuff, but the Browns offense scored 9 total points, 9, and 2 of those were off a 49 and a 52-yard field goal, which aren't easy. And then the other touchdown they scored obviously was on the block kick return for a touchdown. We had our chances. We messed up before halftime. We know what we did. I'm happy with the win. I'm happy with the win. Y'all don't got to believe me. That's just me.
I'm not going to lie. He's making me feel a little bit better. He really did a deep dive into that one. I feel a little bit better.
You know what? Listen, I'm going to be happy with the way the defense played. Okay. There's a couple bright spots on that side of the ball. I'm sure we'll get to a little bit later. But this was a 1-4 team that has been playing like dog shit. We were coming off of a bye and we were healthy for the first time, it seems like, in a month or so. It's just I've come to terms that through all 17 games of this season, they're going to be nail biters, right? Whether it's against a good team or a bad team. But even if we play against the worst team in the league, we're going to have a nail biter, right? So that means towards the end of the year, we're probably going to be fighting for a playoff spot. Not a big deal, right? And we're probably going to get bounced out as soon as we get into the playoffs, right? Because this team is mid, right?
Yeah,
If we have a word of the day, 3-letter word, we are mid.
wow, you are so hip. You are just a hip son of a gun. Coach, I hear what you're saying. I do. Like, yeah, if we took the interception, that would have been great. If they didn't get a 1 in 300 blocked field goal for a touchdown, that'd have been great. If we were able to score before, that would have been great. But you know what? If my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. Like,
I know. I knew you were going to go there. I knew that.
We can play ifs all day long. Like, what happened was
we won. What happened was we won.
What happened? Yes, we won barely. We were 10-1 last year, and we knew. Again, it's one thing. Like you said before, the Phillies went in the postseason, you knew exactly what was going to happen. And look, I gave you credit last episode. You said we're going to be dog shit with runners in scoring position. We got 2 lackadaisical once we locked in the NL East, especially when we got in the second seed to get the bye. We came in. Here's the thing, though. We talked ourselves into them winning this game handily, but what we saw was the same exact stuff we see every time they get a win. For the past 19 regular season games, 19-21 regular season games, every win has been like that. Has been, man, we could have run away with it. We could have knocked them out of the park. But we didn't. We barely squeaked out wins. We've done that against some very good teams. We've done that against some absolutely terrible bottom of the barrel teams. So we did exactly what we always do in every win. And after last year, when we had 10 of those puppies in the first 11 games, I've learned don't get excited until you show me something different, because all I'm seeing is a team beating teams. Yeah, they won. That's great. I'm a hell of a lot happier than if they lost. But they did it the same exact way they've won the last, what would it be, 13 times?
You guys ready for something? The undefeated Kansas City Chiefs. Y'all ready for this?
Yeah, I mean, they're dog shit.
They're undefeated. They're 5-0. Defending Super Bowl champion 5-0 Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
You ready? They won the first game by 6 points. They beat the Bengals, who are terrible, on a bad PI call at the end of the game by 1 point. We all think that the refs gave them that game.
You're talking to somebody that thinks the Kansas City Chiefs are overrated, so I don't know who you're trying to sway here.
5-0, but 5-0. So we're sitting here nitpicking the 3-2. Are we going to nitpick the defending Super Bowl champions that are undefeated?
I am. Like, I don't know who you're trying to convince here. It's either Sean or Chase. It's either
what I'm trying to convince is
or this guy.
Do you think on a podcast right now, or do you think amongst their fan base, or do you think in the Chiefs locker room they're like 5-0, man? It's not the best 5-0 in the world, but it's just 5-0.
Smart fans and smart players. Smart fans and smart players should not be pleased with that.
Yeah, 100%. But also, this is I know I'm the new guy here. No disrespect. I'm not talking KC. I'm talking 215. I don't give a shit about what Kansas City is doing right now. I care about.
Are we talking about wins, or are we talking about style points here? Because this ain't the BCS. This isn't the college football.
Coach, I will go. You have your receipts. You want to talk about receipts all the time? Let's go into last year's tweets when we're 10-1, and you're sitting there being like, "Man, this shit ain't good. Man, this team looks like dog shit." Man, because you were saying the same thing then. So you can't be flipping it now.
I'm not flipping it. What I'm trying to tell you is the offense is better and the defense is better, Jake. Last year, we knew we had 3 different heads at defense coordinator trying to figure things out, signing linebackers off the street, trying to figure out as we're giving up 50 points a game. And we saw that we played hero ball the entire time on offense. We knew that was an issue.
How many points did we score in the first quarter of the season?
0.
It's an issue. The offense better. How many points per game did we have through 5 games last year? Hell of a lot more than we do now. What do you mean the offense is better? It should be better. We hope
you don't think the offense is better right now.
Devontae Smith, Lane Johnson. We get it. We've had 2 games with them. It should be better when they're healthy. In that first game, we scored a lot of points. We looked very good offensively there. This week against a dog shit defense, we scored very few points. We didn't move the ball very efficiently. We scored very few points. We did nothing in the first quarter. We did nothing in the fourth quarter. Well, no.
So can I just throw this counterpoint out there? And then I want to hear what Sean has to say. We scored 20 points, right? You take away the blocked field goal, and I know it happened, so you can't take it away. That's 23. And then we kneeled the ball.
How
at
do we
the
know
end
we're
of the
making
game.
a 58-yard field goal? We can't just assume a 58-yard field goal
You're
is going
right,
to
we
go.
can't. So, okay, I'll say give it. So you want to bring up receipts, Jake? Didn't you say Jake Elliott is one of the best kickers in the NFL?
You can't. No, I've said you want to bring up receipts. I've said on this podcast 20 times, a blocked kick is not on the kicker.
Okay, and that's fine. And I'm not saying it's not. So I'm saying if he doesn't block it, you're saying it's not a guarantee?
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. I'll give you that.
All right, so let's just assume.
All right, 23. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
And then
Jake
the
Elliott is the
AJ
best
Brown,
kicker in
the
the
AJ
NFL.
Brown catch at the end of the game went down to the 9-yard line. All we had to do was knee it out. So we have 1st and goal at the 9-yard line there.
Also, I'll talk about that play. Dumb play.
And I can't wait till we get into it. Let's get into it. No, I want to hear the rest of it.
You said you want to let Sean talk. You want to let Sean talk. Let Sean talk.
Listen, I'm not going to get up here and speak 190 words per minute, guys. I just cannot believe that this is the team. This is the exact team that Joey is optimistic about. We've seen some pretty good teams playing pretty good football, baseball, basketball, whatever. And Joey sit there and thought, no, these guys are going to fall apart. This is a team that was perfectly healthy with an offensive coordinator that was supposed to have us. Who were we missing? Goedert,
Mailata, Darius Slade, Dallas Goedert, Rogers went out as well. Like all those people got hurt during the game. Every one of them.
I'm talking specifically offense. Okay, so for a third of the game, Mailata was out. Right,
Dallas Goedert was out the entire game. He was out after the second play of the game.
Goedert has showed up for 3 quarters this entire season. Okay, so we're not going to play that. Of all things, this team goes up against a shitty Browns team, puts up 20 points after showing us that this is Nick Sirianni's offense, tried and true from the collapse of 2023 and beyond, right? We're seeing route trees left to right. We're seeing tape that just screams Nick Sirianni, right? He's just telling Kellen Moore what to do ahead of time, you know?
That's not wrong.
So I can't believe that we watched the same 4 quarters of football. And again, give the credit where it's due. The defense played lights out. But again, they were going up against Deshaun Watson, okay? We are supposed to finger him in the ass for all 4 quarters as is, right? This does not look like a good team. This does not look like an offense that has practice whatsoever. This is a dink and dunk. This is not trying. This is barely going deep because we fucking can't. I don't know. I can't even pinpoint where this offense is bad. It's just not scoring. Like, how is this not frustrating to you? We watched this game. We watched them not score anything in the first quarter. We watched them not even get Jalen Hurts didn't even have a positive yard until the second quarter. I just don't know what you're seeing. I don't know how you're coming away positive as a guy that's typically been the harshest critic out of all of us.
He flipped his hat around.
It's like a switch.
I didn't even know what kind of hat you had on this whole time.
Super Bowl champions, baby. Super Bowl champions. Now I'm not saying that I'm not disappointed with the starts. That should be scripted plays. That should be bread and butter, and it's not. But I'll address all this. Let's continue to flow with the show. Right. I there's a lot I disagree with.
Chase, you have any thoughts?
No, this is incredible passion that I'm seeing, and I wish that the Birds had a little bit of this passion playing on the weekend.
Man, I'll tell you.
I am sitting on my couch just like sunken into it, just like watching what I have come to terms with already 6 weeks into the season is a very mid team. Like this is your typical 8-8 team. Like it's going to compete. They're going to be fine. Right. And in 5 years from now, we're going to completely forget about this team. We're going to forget who was starting. It's just another year. Right, on a team that was as hyped as it is falling flat, and it's mid. And we have to deal all week now because of a 2-second clip. We don't even get to talk about how mid the team is. We get to talk about our coach going back and forth with a fan.
No, we don't have to talk about that shit. We're not.
No, we have to hear about it from every single pundit available. Okay. And then we have to hear about the same coach showing up to the press conference with his kids. Okay, that's all people want to talk about. You know why? Because this team is 8-8. It's blah. What else is there to talk about? How okay they did? They did incredibly all right. They did fine. When somebody asks you how your day's going and you go, I'm here. That's how they played. I'm here. There's nothing notable. So instead, we get a full week of news coverage about whether or not it's appropriate for our coach to have fun with somebody on the sidelines that was probably had way too much to drink and was way too loud for 59 minutes and 45 seconds of the game. And then we get to be pissed off that the beat writers didn't get to give the coach his lashings after a win because his kids were there. Like the reporters were going to be sitting there like screaming and cursing or something.
Self-admittedly, the gentleman that was on the sidelines said that he had a lot to drink.
The fan?
Yes. I'm sure they did. Like, of course he did. Of course he did. He was probably talking mad trash throughout the game, right? Sirianni actually heard him and then turned around and say how you like them apples. Who cares?
After a great win.
After a win. It wasn't how I would have proceeded. No, but it's not also there's a million ways that could have proceeded that I wouldn't have done exactly. Am I pissed off about it? No. Do I think Jeff McClain was really trying to had to hold back some punches at a press conference, a post-game press conference because Nick Sirianni's kids were there? No. That guy's a punk ass.
Unless Jeff McClain was coming in there with 38 F-bombs and some racial slurs, what are the kids going to hear about scheme plays on fourth down? Like, hey, Nick, what happened on that third down play? No, not in front of the kids. Like, what are you – shut the fuck up, Jeff McClain. We're talking about a presser, not a game, not a game, not a game. Not a game. We're talking about a presser, man. A presser. We're talking about a presser, not a game.
When's the last time you have heard any sort of post-game press conference and thought that is not appropriate for children?
Not only that, like this obsession with either a new coach or any coach winning the press conference. Do you know who won the press conference?
Brandon Staley.
Brandon Staley, Chip Kelly. I'm trying to think. Josh McDaniels. They won the press conferences. There's guys that don't win. What a guy says in front of a microphone has nothing to do with the play on the field. And yet the Philly media and some of these weirdo fans that have no clue what was said. Guess what? Iverson brings his kids to the press conference. Y'all got no problem with that. Embiid does it. Y'all got no problem with that. Brandon Graham does it. Y'all got no problem with that. Sirianni did it when we were winning and going to the Super Bowl, and you had no problem with that. But because you wanted to talk about how he was joking around with the fans in the stands, now I'm not able to ask some questions. There's not a question you weren't able to ask, McClain, you bozo, you fraud, you bum. That's why Fletcher Cox and a lot of those guys don't talk to you, because you're a bum and a fraud. And even if you would have said that to Nick Sirianni, it wouldn't have been anything crazy. His kids live in Philadelphia. They probably hear worse every day. So shut up. Quit crying.
So, Chase, I saw you had a very delicious cup of coffee today. You care to share anything about the bean to bean Philadelphia coffee you had?
Yeah, bean to bean. Phenomenal little coffee roaster in Port Richmond. They got a little cafe in Northern Liberties, Old Kensington, whatever you want to call it. Phenomenal. Much more delicious and tasty and vibrant than Nick Sirianni's presser. But not as vibrant as his new haircut.
Yeah. Not a great look, but
it's something. I guess when you got to change things up a bit, or maybe really lean into that Philly boy kind of attitude, a real Philly ball, as some may say. But it's weird.
If he does, I need him to walk into the next press conference and just go, yerp, right at the beginning of it.
I almost want him to embrace his villain, like his true villain character, right? Like the next press conference, I want to be like, you, all y'all. My kids ain't here.
I cannot believe he walked it back. He needed to. That is the worst thing you could ever do, is apologize for something when you said it with your chest. That's exactly what I did. That's me. You can get mad at it all you want, but because now every single pundit feels like they were right. Yeah. You know what?
That's him saying apologize, or do you think that's Lurie telling him, dude, you got to make this right? You're chirping with fans, and now you're doing this bullshit. Like, go out there and say something.
I mean, there was a report today saying that the higher ups in the front office or whatever said that they were embarrassed.
That was from McClain. I'm not even listening to that shit. That was from McClain.
I just saw the headline. I didn't see the article. Yeah, I don't think anybody is talking to McClain in the higher ups.
I will fight him one-on-one.
Book it right now.
You want me, Sam. Right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a charity event I'd pay to see.
Yeah,
let's do it. If Soto signs with the Phillies, I will fight.
Oh, fight John McClain one-on-one if Juan Soto.
He doesn't even have to agree with it. It's just happening.
Coach, if Aaron Nola stays a Philly, you'd fight McClain. I don't want to hear it.
I'll fight McLean just, for
Exactly.
Hey, look, we got Tommy Stakes on joining us, and I feel like I don't know, Tom. I don't know if you were listening or you heard anything, but I was getting ganged up on here, 3v1 almost, defending some
Because he was
stuff.
wrong.
It was an outrageous take. You made me feel a little bit better, but you're going to sit there and be like, everything's fine.
Never said everything's fine. Run it back, Dan. Clip it. Run it back. Never said anything's fine. Run it
All
back.
right, we alluded to things were better than they actually are.
Tom, how do you feel about this win?
I listen, I broke it down on my thread on Twitter, that long dissertation on Nick Sirianni that I tweeted. Those pieces of work to me are monumental in this season for me, because I am very strong on this team right now. Aside from the fact that the score was only 20-16, I think the score didn't indicate how much we could build on this game. I really think there's something to build on here.
Sean, I'm not going to go through another rant.
I got a weird feeling on this team, and I don't know. The vibes are tingling right now, and if we're being honest, I like that the players, I'll say this. I like that Jalen Hurts and Brandon Graham are two guys that are very familiar with being doubted by this fan base. And now Nick Sirianni is almost like earning his stripes being that guy now. And I think they're gaining respect for him as we speak. And I think this football team is ready to show us a little something.
What respect did Nick Sirianni gain on Sunday?
It's with the players. Who cares if it's the fans or the media?
That's fair. What player was like, boy, do I respect this coach? After what did he do on Sunday to gain respect from anybody? Players, coaches, front office, anybody.
I think the two big things that stood out to me were the fact that Brandon Graham has been pretty vocal about it, and he was seen kind of laughing when he was going at the fans. And Jalen
Shocker,
Hurts,
the number 3 most disliked player when trash talking on the field, liked his coach trash talking on the field.
And he's the leader of this team. He's the guy. So Jalen Hurts.
I love BJ.
Jalen Hurts as well. Jalen Hurts came out in his press conference and said, I told him, be yourself. We believe in who you are. And then Nick Sirianni's 2022 version, where he's always a hothead on the sideline, came right out right in that game. So I feel like it's just a combination of things where, he's wearing it on his sleeve right now. And I think the players are kind of, I don't know. I just feel like they're going to rally behind it. I do. And I don't think there's anything wrong or dramatic internally with the Eagles. I think they're all trying to rally and trying to turn this thing around. I think the fans are being a little bit more dramatic and the media is playing into it. But I think this team is there's something to build on with this game. And I just have this weird feeling that this football team is going to do something.
Okay, so we chatted a little bit about kind of the social factors involved with that, right? And having a team that supports you. What did you see on the field specifically that has you feeling like the tingly sensation that the vibes are going to increase and improve as the season goes on?
Excellent question, Sean.
Well, I think there was one big problem with this team, and it was really standing out, is that was Jalen Hurts wasn't playing like a franchise quarterback. He's turning the ball over a little bit too much, being a little bit too loose with the ball. And I think that on Sunday, after they kind of settled in, after those first 2 drives where they took those unnecessary early shot plays, they started to settle in. They started to run the ball more. They started to commit to doing things the right way. And he had a flawless game. I mean, not flawless, but no turnovers. He was smart with the ball. He was directing traffic. We had Devontae on 2 drag routes that were beautifully drawn up. I thought just simple stuff, really. I mean, sometimes it's a simple game, and I think they got back to a lot of those basics that I was waiting to see them get back to. And look, I'm removing my Super Bowl expectations hat, like I said, and I'm going to look at this team in the reality of what they are right now, and that's a team that's trying to get back on track. So that's what I'm looking at, and I saw that from the offense.
That makes one of us. I mean, I saw positive things. I saw no turnovers. That's a positive. That's a good thing. And I saw no real close plays, no plays. We've seen plenty of plays where Brock Purdy is a famous guy for having so many almost interceptions. He should lead the league in picks, but they
That's
just
where we're at right now with this team, though. We need to see something, you didn't see, you just said you saw positives. I mean, okay.
No, for sure. No, there were positives in this game. I'm not sitting here being like, damn, that we won, but that's the only good thing of this game. There were positives.
So hold on. I want to ask one question. The whole thing, go around. Yes or no question from everyone. I just want a yes or a no. Maybe get into explanations, but Was this a game that you feel the Eagles can build on? Jake.
Yes.
Scoot, yes. Jake.
No.
No. Sean.
Tom, I don't think in yes or no. I'm going to have to explain myself
Yeah, I
here.
mean, I would love to, but I was told I
Politician
can't.
on the podcast.
No. I thought I took a little bit more away from the defense, right? I saw some positives on that side of the ball.
Sure, yeah.
The offense looked like it was running about 70% of what it should be, right? And damn near close to fully healthy, with a couple exceptions over the course of the game. Okay.
Sure.
But so it's like, okay, it's a yes, but it's a very weak yes.
Yeah, that's kind of
every game can be a game to build upon, whether it's a good game, a win or loss, it doesn't really matter.
Positive way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you would hope that no matter what way it is, it's a positive way. I don't think you can give a binary yes or no to that one, but I think there were good positives that leave you to be hopeful. Obviously, Devontae coming back, AJ coming back, you got that dynamic duo, Grant Calcaterre having a game of his life. So I think you have that. And then obviously, I mean, whatever his name was, we'll call him Kevin from the stand, saying, Nick, run the ball. And we ran the ball, and it was well-rounded to the best game since the Packers game. But again, I think every game is a game to build upon. So yes.
Yeah, I mean, I said no just because I was told I couldn't give an explanation, but I'm there. I'm like, it's a soft yes. It's a very soft yes because
it's a putt offense that cost $100 million. We got all stars and Pro Bowlers out the yin yang, and we've got I don't know. It just seems like we can't. We're a dink and dunk offense. Like this might as well be Jeff Garcia back here. We got Jalen having 14 carries on the
three
game.
safeties were out. Their top 3 safeties were out on the Browns, and we were just, like you said, just dinking and dunking.
Their top 3 safeties are just guys.
And we won, and
just guys.
We won, and we moved the ball up and down the field. Again, there was a couple plays there, penalties and the blocked field goal, and things like that. I just don't think the score and the stats are indicative. Like I saw this team; they were doing the right things. The variety of run motions they were doing, and Grant Calcaterre getting involved, Jahan Dotson making a few plays. Like I'm a patience over like patience and process is like my favorite part of football. Like watching like things slowly come together. Hey, look,
about 380 yards of total offense against a terrible team.
I'm dumping all my eggs into the bucket of the Giants game, because if they lose this, I don't know how I'm going to stand on this take. But I just feel like something's happening with this team.
And I love the positivity. I love that you feel that way. I wish I did. I do. I love how they get positive. I wish I was there.
Hasn't talked since.
What's up?
On my side.
What I want to say is I think there's something positive you could take away from this, because think about it from this angle. The Browns' sole objective in this game was to take away the run game and Saquon Barkley. He averaged 2.6 yards a carry. We had no run game on the ground. So they decided to stack the box, take away the run, make us one-dimensional passing. Oh, yeah. And then your left tackle leaves the game and your starting tight end leaves the game. So then the positive I took away from that is, can Jalen be forced to throw the football where a team knows he has to throw the football because the run game isn't effective, play turnover-free football, and be clutch? And I'll be honest, I got to take the L on something. I was drinking a little bit, and after Jalen went 0 for 5, I started to put out some tweets about how I didn't like his performance, and I got checked. Give her a shout-out, Real Mama Eagle Key. She checked me on Twitter, and after the game, I was like, you know what? He proved me wrong. I got to take the L. I was in my feels a little bit, so it's okay to take an L from time to time after you go back and rewatch, after you go back and assess, after you go back and look. But boys, if y'all are going to sit here and tell me that someone completely shut down Saquon in the run game, you lost your left tackle against Myles freaking Garrett, and then you lost Dallas Goedert, who's one of your weapons, and then Jalen Hurts played turnover-free football, throwing the ball to win the game, I think that's a positive you definitely have to build on, because we've seen we could run the ball to win. We've seen we could throw the ball to win. Now we saw when forced with one-dimensional football without big players out that we can be clutch, and that's what this team was missing.
The offense did not win this game. The defense did.
I'm not saying they won the game. I'm saying in the part of the game when they needed to drive down and score, they did. After the Browns kicked the field goal to tie it, we let a touchdown drive. After the Browns cut it to 4 points, we went down, threw the ball to AJ, kneeled out. That's the offense doing its job. Whether you want to say the defense won the game or not, which I think they did. Defense won this game for us. You can't sit there and say, okay, well, the offense had nothing to do with it.
No, well, obviously you can't. You got to score points to win a game. You can't win a game without scoring points.
I knew
But
that.
I'm just saying, like, so if I was to ask everybody in this group, Jalen Hurts had an okay, good, great, or perfect game, what would you say?
Yeah,
I say
think
really good.
Well, that's not one of the options.
Oh, you can't just pigeonhole me to like
Okay, good, great, or perfect.
good.
I'll say good. Slow
Good.
start, missed a couple deep shots. I don't think they were good calls.
All right. Well, I'm shocked. It sounded like you guys were all going to go the great. Like, oh, I was checked. Jalen Hurts shut me up. I thought you were going to be like, oh, he had a phenomenal game. He had a good game.
Yeah.
It was far from great, and it was miles from perfect.
Dak didn't have a good game.
Well, nobody said Dak's any good on this podcast. I nobody's ever said Dak's any
I'm
good.
just saying, like
That's terrible.
NFC East lost across the board. All we needed from Jalen was a good game to just give me hope for another week, and he delivered. No turnovers.
I think if this isn't against a shit Browns team, I feel better. So it's not against the 1-4 Browns team.
Right.
And I think, like you said, Tommy, there's a lot of weight. There's a lot of weight on this Giants game.
Yeah.
And depending on how we go out there and play, because, when you go out there and get beat by Tommy Cutlets and we're ending the season that way, it still stings. And that's the thing for me is we can't go back to until 2022 when we can feel comfortable. We were talking about it in the beginning of the podcast, but when you can feel comfortable of going, I can sit back, relax, I can eat a little buffalo chicken dip and just watch the game and not necessarily coast on out, but not have anxiety in the pit in my stomach. And then when we do this against the Browns, it's just like, well, we're coasting down in the wrong way. I want to coast out in the right way.
I'm saying back then you could. Like back then you could coast on out.
That's what I mean. And
you're saying like not necessarily. No, you could. December 23rd was the last. 2022 was the last regular season ass whooping. That's nearly 2 years ago.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes this so tough of being, and I think we're all super critical, and I hate being that Philadelphia fan who's like, oh, this team sucks, and the radio caller in. But it just hurts to watch this team after what we were, to see what we did last year, the absolute collapse, and then go, ooh, Jesus Christ, this is a bad win against a shit Browns team. It doesn't make me feel any better.
Agreed.
I think there is a lot of validity in what are we doing next week against the New Jersey Giants because they don't play in New York.
Yeah.
So what would have made y'all feel better with this win? Did you need to see something from the offense, something from the defense? I mean, you take away that blocked field goal for a touchdown. And I'm just asking you because I want to know instead of just speaking in
what
like
I need to see is not have to rely on ifs to justify this is a great game. Like
I don't have to rely on anything because we won.
I've heard you say if.
I know
more today
because I'm trying to justify your reasoning, not mine. We won the game.
What I needed to see to come out feeling good in this game is what we said we thought we were going to see. I needed 35-17. I needed an offense going on there. I don't care if Dallas Goedert's out there. We had games where we put up massive points where Dallas Goedert had one target. And I understand him, like he does stuff off the stat sheet. We talk about it all the time. Like just because they're not on the stat sheet doesn't mean they weren't out there doing stuff. So I get it. He was a great blocker. Him missing him probably hurt a little bit of the run game, whatever. I need to see them go out there and have 10 first quarter points. I need to see them go out there, have their scripted plays work. I need to see them go out there and put their foot on the throat of a team. And yeah, if you have that blocked field goal return for a touchdown, that should have made it a 10-point game where we're still up 10. Like I need to see it where it's an ass whooping where, yeah, we are getting the buffalo chicken dip reheated in the air fryer. Yeah, we are checking on our fantasy, not worrying about, or we miss a play. This is my dad, we watch games together. I love, this is the biggest play of the game so far. That's he always says that, like, third down, it's a close game, and they'll probably say it 12 times throughout the game. Biggest play of the game so far. I love when it's not the biggest play of the game so far because we're up 20 points. And it doesn't matter. There is no big plays of the game anymore. We have every play's been a big play. I'm waiting for the play that's not a big play.
But Jake, I'll say this about as a classic rant, but I'll say this about that. Is that just because as a fan you want a blowout and a domination, and it didn't end up being that on the scoreboard, and we kind of sweat it out? I don't necessarily think that means that it was a bad game, like that it was a bad win. Like I get your guys' emotions.
To Chase's point, if the team wasn't 1-4, I agree. To Chase's point, if it wasn't against one of the bottom 3 teams in the NFL, I completely agree. But it was.
But I think I get that. But the thing about it is that, like you said, you wanted to go grab that buffalo chicken dip. I was at the game on Sunday, and we were all about to go grab that buffalo chicken dip. It's 10-3, slow start. We're driving down, and that block field goal happens. And that just sucked the air out of this team. And then the Browns ended up getting the ball and having a drive after halftime. I feel like we were just about to start stepping on them, just about to, and that happened. And it felt like, dang, this team's really cursed, isn't it? But hey, look, end of the day, they come out against the Giants and they have that dominant game. Then then it is what it is. But I understand what you're saying, but I still feel like they played well, and it wasn't. I don't think it was because they played bad that the score got close and it got a little tough there. I think it was just because of how the game kind of played itself out more than anything, really. And I feel like the sequence of how things played out was just, it's kind of football.
Today's episode is brought to you by White Glove Car Wash. You know wintertime is coming, and you know what that means. Salt and brine on the roads. The leaves are going to start falling. You're going to have crap all over your car in no time. There's no better place to get it spick and span than a White Glove Car Wash. Now offering unlimited packages starting as low as $25 a month. You can go and get your car washed as many times as you want, so you can get any level of car enthusiast in your life the best gift that they can ask for. The ability to go daily and get that little perfect car of theirs clean, spick, and span. White Glove Car Wash with locations in Delaware, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. You are never too far from the glove. All you have to do is ask your phone, take me to White Glove Car Wash, and your phone is going to direct you to the best car wash in the tri-state area. Let them know that Talkin 215 sent you.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It wasn't because they played bad. They had played fairly well. And this is what we got. The product we got was a team that barely eked out against a very bad Browns team, right? So yeah, we're a little bit better of a team than them, right? But if for a fan base whose expectations were sky high, the team is just above that Mason-Dixon line, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to say we played good, that's a bad sign.
It's not a great team, and we're just coming to terms with that. Like, let us be a little upset that this team that we thought maybe was Super Bowl bound, that I had gone 15-2, is just fine. It's an okay team, and we're going to have entertaining games through 17 weeks of the season.
Still could be a 15-2 team. Still could be mathematically.
I mean, they're just fine in week 5, guys. Just fine in week 5. But how the team is in week 5 doesn't necessarily mean that's how it's going to be in week 17 either.
They were 10-1 last year too, and I was optimistic.
Last year, Sean. That's different coordinators, different players, different schemes.
It's the same sport. It's the same sport.
That is not an argument. That's not an argument.
Coach, I'm with you here. That's not an argument.
Yeah.
It is. We were listen, maybe this is just my personal journey, man. I was so high on this team, and I ignored everybody saying, yeah, but it was an ugly win. And then the wheels fell off. And when push came to shove, we crumpled. Right.
And that's what I'm saying. The wheels are already off right now. And I think that the rise is happening. That's what I think. I think the rise is happening.
I would love to be proved wrong.
This week with this Browns game, it started. And I'm telling you, this win, you guys are overlooking the magic in it. You're overlooking the diamond in the rough. This was a win that their confidence is coming back. I can see it. I can sense it.
I hope.
Do we have Doc on to tell us how long Mailata is going to be out?
He's going to be.
I'm going to be recording. Doc, I'll tell you.
Yeah. I'm going to be recording with him tomorrow. He's got family plans this evening. Did talk to him specifically about Jordan Mailata. This is the DOS injury segment of the game, brought to you by our friends over at Delaware Orthopedic Specialist, 302-655-9494 or delortho.com. Dr. Mesa, we were talking about it. We talked to him about, hey, what'd you see in the injury? He was, of course, at the game, probably sitting right behind Mike Trout, as Joseph does. And he was there talking. He was like, yeah, it looked right away like it was a hamstring injury. And then we saw the clip posted of him really hobbling on crutches after the game. He kind of put it this way. It's not incredibly concerning for a guy of that size with a hamstring injury to require crutches and everything. It's going to be a lot learned in the next couple of days as he tries to get more testing done and figure out, what if it still requires crutches after a couple of days. He said an optimistic timeline would be 2 to 4 weeks. So expect more of that 3 to 5, 4 to 6 recovery. And then, like everybody says, like we always talk about when Joel Embiid's out and everything, guys of that size, conditioning is so massive. When he comes back, I think it'd be silly of us to expect the all-pro level that he's been playing at this season right when he comes back. I think the only way to really ensure that he comes back in the best shape possible is if we get him on the bucket golf course. I mean, I think that's paramount to recovery. So, Jordan, we know you listen every episode. I think you really got to hit Chase and I up to get back on that bucket golf course.
I think that it's actually been proven scientifically that there is no better rehab that's out right now in 2024, especially at FDR Park.
Correct. They have the ducks are gone. By the way, there are no ducks at FDR Park. We were asked a number of times, are there ducks here? We have not seen a mallard. We have not seen a khaki brown bottom duck, whatever she wanted to call it. We
A lot of duck watchers,
yes,
0 ducks.
yes. I don't know how accurate her call was. It was something like with some gurgles in there. Did not attract any ducks. For anybody wondering, she called the ducks. They did not come.
There's a sight to be seen.
Yes.
So no Annette today or any of their ilk. There's the family of mallards and
We cover a lot on this podcast.
Correct. I tried to tell her. I suggested that she yelled goose and run in a circle. She did not attempt that avenue of getting the ducks.
That's crazy.
Interesting.
All right. So positive note. And then obviously I'm going to be talking with Mesa about the other injuries with Darius Slay, with Dallas Goedert, everybody. And we're going to be putting out videos here later in the week, giving Doc's professional opinion on all those. Positive note, outside of the injuries and everything, I talked about it on our Twitter. I posted that little tweet out there. Giveaways for the Phillies season obviously are done. Giveaways for the Phillies season are done because the Phillies aren't playing. Coach, what have we always called ourselves? We're the podcast of what? Tom's got it.
Dallas Goedert.
No. Tom had it right away. We're the podcast for the people. Podcast of the people. So just officially today, we locked in a Flyers season ticket package so that we can continue to give out tickets to the fans. So first giveaway is going to be on Halloween, October 31st.
Orange and black on Halloween?
We've got the orange and black on Halloween. We have tickets to give away to you, the fans. We have a beautiful center ice second level season ticket package. I stand by this. They're the best seat in the Wells Fargo Center is center ice second level.
What other podcast is doing this?
Can you send me to one of these games? How do I get
I bought extra tickets. There's giveaway tickets, and then we always have at least one ticket for the host. So it's a 3-ticket
one ticket, okay? Don't bring your wife.
At least.
That's
Tom,
crazy.
you got to like and subscribe first, my man. You gotta like
Do you follow Delaware Orthopedic Specialists?
I'm creating a couple burner accounts to join up in these contests, and
there you go. Now we have locked in a 12-game package, and we're going to be giving away all 12 games. So looking forward to continuing the giveaway spirit as Talking 2 and 5 does.
Center ice tickets. Those are tough tickets to come by.
Yeah. Aisle seats too, baby. Sean knows I spring for the aisle seats.
You got to pee. You don't want to get up and excuse 12 people. Nope.
No.
You got to stretch the legs out.
Thinking ahead. I like
big pisser over here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We cover a lot on this podcast.
So yeah, we got 12 games, 24 total tickets that we're going to be giving out this year. So,
Should be a good season. Should be a good season.
Not very much, baby.
A lot of promise. He might not speak English, but god damn it, can he skate and score?
And they play tonight.
Yeah, is this not the ninth year in a row we've started on the West Coast? Like, it's ridiculous. The schedule makers just hate the Philadelphia Flyers.
It's like the 26th year in a row, I believe.
Yeah, we always start on the West Coast. Like, I'm fine starting not at home, but we start where our first 4 games are at 10 p.m.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
You got to take a midday nap to catch these games right now.
Yeah, I watched the first period and a half, and I had a rehearsal dinner and then I had to go to an early wedding the next day. So I got to like 11:30. The game didn't even end until almost 1 a.m. because it went to a shootout. And I happen to wake up to the good news that we have now, for the 10th straight year, started the season with at least a point. We're 8-0-2 in opening games in the past 10 years.
Nice.
We're not going to talk about the next 81
I was
games.
just about to say, and then what?
Could be a bad thing. Could be a bad thing. Maybe we should have lost, but hey, we'll see.
No, exactly. But look, we had a lot of discourse, and I'm going to say, let's agree to disagree on a number of things. But I do agree it's going to come down to this week to really figure out, are we real? Are we getting our swagger back? Is this a Nick Sirianni offense? Is it a Kellen Moore offense? We're going to find out, what are we going to see? I think we're going to have a good idea against the New Jersey Giants this weekend. We're going to be our prediction episode in a couple of days. I hope that we all can return to give all of our thoughts and predictions on that. And I really hope that this time we are right. I do.
Starting left tackle, Andrew Thomas has been ruled out for the next few weeks as well. So that's huge. He's one of the better, young left tackles in the game, and probably the only offensive lineman on that line worth a damn. So that's
how about Bryce Huff against Cleveland?
Hey, so good.
Pinned his hands down and got to the QB and made him move around a little bit.
And he had an incredible stop on a run play. I remember specifically seeing him. It looked like they were getting 4 or 5 yards. He just reached out, grabbed him, and said, "Nope, line of scrimmage back for you."
There is something to having him in that 4-point stance like Trent Cole and Hugh Douglas versus a guy like Hassan Reddick who thrived in the 2-point stance. Having some guys in that 4-point is just more comfortable than them, and you see the get off, you see the leverage, you see the burst. It's just we might be on to something here.
Yeah.
That's Coach Joey's corner, folks.
I love the Hugh Douglas comparison because he just needs to add that big ass neck
roll. Yeah.
It was like the cowboy collar style version. Or did he have the roll? Was it
he had a neck roll, yeah.
He looked fierce in that thing, and he was coming around the edge. It was a good man. And obviously it's a podcast, so you can't really see the motion that I just did, but
he's ducking forever though. Not watching, he's ducking.
I was loving what I was seeing on those clips that some of the guys were posting, and I love how it's a lot easier to look at the positives. Maybe it is because we won that to build on, but maybe this has been building for a few weeks. They're working with
a lot easier for you.
No, yeah, I mean it is. It is much easier for me when we win. But I'll say this though, with this defense playing this way against the Browns, I've watched the Browns a couple times because they played the NFC East, they played the Cowboys, and they played the Commanders already. So I've watched them a few times, and they're really, really bad. And like I kind of expected what I saw on Sunday. Their offense is broken. Like their quarterback is just a mess. And I don't think the Giants have been that bad. They played the Commanders really tough. They played the Dallas Cowboys really tough. They beat Seattle on the road in a tough game.
Well, the Cowboys
even the game against Cincinnati, they were in it all the whole game. So I don't think there's going to be a pushover game. What do you guys think? Like your expectations are going in? I mean, I know we don't want to get too deep into it, I guess, but because you were doing another episode.
I think you'll find out Thursday night on next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
I like that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jake. Since you said something about Coach's Corner, can I talk about something that you brought up in the beginning of the pod? How you didn't like the last
it was a bad play call.
Yeah,
no, it was a beautiful play design. Beautiful play design. Not a great time to do the play.
I just want to talk about real quick a couple plays that Eagles fans are getting crazy over and whatnot. One, let's talk about the first touchdown to A.J. Brown, right? For the people that say, oh, this is Sirianni's offense, it's just go balls, it's Sirianni's offense, it's just outside. On the A.J. Brown touchdown early in the game that put us up 10-0, there was motion from Grant Calcaterra, tight split. A.J. was in the slot, and Calcaterra motioned outside of him almost to a 2x2 formation. What this means now is you have a smash concept set up where there's a outside hitch, the outside wide receiver does a hitch, and the inside receiver does a corner route over him. This is a perfect concept call for cover one, where there's one safety in the middle of the field. If there's two safeties, then that helps get to each side. But because they were in cover one man, and the corner sucked up on Calcaterra, you had AJ one-on-one. He didn't run your traditional smash route to the corner. He ran kind of like a slot fade one-on-one to the outside. And when you have AJ Brown one-on-one with a corner with no safety help, you're going to throw that to your best player. Now, the only reason I bring up that play, we scored a touchdown on. The last play of the game, Jake, which you do not like, they are almost in a cover zero.
Hate the time.
They are almost in a cover zero, and Hurts checked to this. It wasn't the play that was called. So if we're going to say this is Nick Sirianni's playbook, did Hurts check to a Nick Sirianni play, or did Nick call a different play that people would have been okay with since they didn't like the A.J. Brown play? Are we just going to blame Nick when it's bad and then praise Hurts or Kellen when it's good? Because no matter what the play is, we don't know what it was. But if you go back and look at that play, and I implore all Eagles fans to go back and look at that play, we're not visual here on this podcast just yet. The Browns have no safety, and it is cover one, almost cover zero, where the safety, quote unquote, the deepest man on the field is linebacker depth. They still rushed 4 to 5, but they had everyone condensed in the middle of the field. So when they do that, that takes away slants, in breakers. That takes away any mesh concept too if they're bringing pressure. So what do? You attack outside of the numbers because there's no safety. What do? Attack outside of the numbers because there's no safety. Did you see anybody else try to contest that ball when it was just AJ in the corner? No, there wasn't anybody else in the screen. You know why? Because the Browns had 10 other guys at the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure what we as fans or media wanted that play call to be. In the moment, I wasn't happy with it either because I think it's high risk, high risk, high reward. And in that situation, I wanted to bleed some clock. But what play could we possibly have called that would have worked there?
No, it was I just worry about a lot of different things that could have come into play. Like, you have AJ slip, interception. They have the opportunity to turn it into a Falcons.
Just get on me for ifs earlier. Didn't you get on me for ifs earlier?
But can we say this though? Can we say this though? I'll say this. Joe, you asked what play did Eagles fans want called? Let's think about this. What play do you think the Browns wanted the Eagles to run on that? What did they dare them to do? Exactly what they did. Throw the ball outside the numbers downfield, and Jalen Hurts did it. He put a dot on their head. And guess what? That's going to spring them into next week. That's going to be confidence booster because they dared them. They dared them to do that, and Jalen Hurts did it. And you said it earlier in the show. They dared him to throw all game.
Let's be fair. Both of those plays were made by AJ Brown, much more than Jalen Hurts.
The first one, yes. The second one, I thought was a great ball.
What, the one to end the game?
Yeah.
It was both on them equally. It was a little underthrown.
But I think you'd rather underthrow that in a situation because there's no safety there. It's just my guy gets it or nobody does. But if I overthrow it a little bit, I'd rather just put that up there to where AJ has a chance. Because one thing you don't want to do
opens up the possibility of an interception. Overthrow, it's an incompletion.
But incompletion stops the clock. I don't think that guy's out muscling AJ for a one-on-one ball. You know what I'm saying? Like
the ball's in his hands. He caught it. He's a superstar receiver. You don't got to be.
Yeah, no, he's Chase. Is he not the best at throwing that ass back and just creating a little bit of separation?
Tosses back, baby, like nobody else in the league.
Body control is amazing. The body control when the ball is in the air. The ball tracking is a skill that is tough to replicate.
The late hands, like it's unreal. He's the best in the league at the late hands. Like it's like it sticks to his hip. Like it's insane. He's so strong with the ball.
Oh, he's a man.
And they dared him. They said, "Look, okay, your receivers are back. All right, well, we're gonna press up on them the whole game. We're gonna send the zero, and we're gonna stop the run all game, and we're gonna wreak havoc on your line." And they dared Hurts to beat him, and he threw for 280, 2 touchdowns, game-winning throw. When everybody in the stadium not everybody in the stadium, but everyone in the Browns wanted him to throw that ball, dared him to throw that ball. I think it's a positive thing. I think we're going right into next week with some confidence, boys.
Let me ask you all too, because I want everybody's answer on this. The play where Saquon ran out of bounds when he didn't get the first down. We know what happened after that. I saw a reporter, I don't know who it was, but the reporter saying that's on coaching, that's on coaching, that's on coaching. Saquon in year 6 in the league, being a former Pro Bowler,
no, he was a bitch.
Like, that's on you as a player, right? Do you guys think that's on the coaching or that's on Saquon?
That's on Saquon.
Yeah, that's on him.
Saquon, 100%.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad we're all in agreement on that because
what's the argument? How is it on coaching?
Pussy behavior.
You're saying the coaching isn't. They're not coaching them to understand game situations under 2 minutes. In bounds or out of bounds. They had 3 timeouts. He was 1 yard away from it. You could have burned a timeout there easily.
That's a terrible take.
I got to find the tweet, but I went at a Philly reporter for saying that was coaching. I'm not even joking.
What is this, Pee Wee football? That's such a terrible take.
So you learn that they are coaching that. They've coached that since they were kids. Like, come on, man.
But it's on Saquon. Like the dumbass stretches his arm out, doesn't just drops a shoulder, fights for a little bit. He didn't even need to fight. He wasn't touched. He just lollygagged it.
Yeah.
It was poor. It was piss poor effort. Mm-hmm. It was pussy behavior.
Like, he compounded it on the next play too by missing that block.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That whole series was on Saquon.
Yeah,
All
but
right,
I just
we're
wanted to get
running.
y'all's thoughts on that because I know Sirianni is always like the low hanging fruit to attack.
Exactly, and that's all. That's why I'm getting behind this guy more than ever, because it's just low hanging fruit. Everything's Sirianni's fault, and I think that's why the players are getting behind him too more now and being more outspoken about it. Everybody always said Jalen Hurts never really went out of his way. Oh, he hates him. He hates him. I think I've seen Jalen Hurts praise Nick Sirianni more in the last 2 press conferences
Look
adamantly than I have in the last 2 years.
for a guy whose fruit hangs low, I understand. Sean, final thought.
Final thought. Coach Joey, a man of optimism.
Interesting.
Don't you dare put that
Tommy,
on me.
final thought.
Nick Sirianni, I'm riding with him 2024. You can my head's on the stake with his.
We'll see you at the voting booth. Coach.
My final thought is this is Kellen Moore's offense, and Sean was right about something in the way the Jeff Hoffman song. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Chase.
Final thoughts. Let's build off what Tommy said. Let's build off this positivity. Let's go up to New Jersey and just take care of business, and then we'll reconvene.
Love it. Love it. Feel as though no better time for me to bring back this tried and true final thought. Well, Chick-fil-A may always be closed on Sundays. AJ Brown is always open.